related to a different key and then gave you the subject in a minor key. And that's kind of the way these fugues operate. Give you an exposition, episode which you change key, bring back the subject in a different key. All right, so we've now had a fugue from the 19th century, although we would call it a fugato because it's embedded in this lovely, lovely sonata allegro movement. Let's turn to a fugue from the 20th century, and for this we go to Leonard Bernstein, and you can see the play with stuff on the board. New Haven used to be a favorite tryout city for Broadway musical. Indeed, there was a musical entitled, never went anywhere, entitled We Bombed in New Haven, meaning that the tryout of the particular musical was not a success. And where would they try out in New Haven? What was the great theater?
Сколько стоит билет?
The Shiver Theater. Yeah, actually, in that period, the Yale Rep was actually the company House of Worship. That's now the Yale Rep. So was it the Shiver Theater?
Вот это он имел в
For
виду.
a long, long time. So Leonard Bernstein
500.
came in here with a
500.
show. He tried it out there. And generally speaking, it was a success. He took down the train tracks there to Broadway. But he took some music out of it, some music that he thought actually was a little bit too complicated for the choreography that he wanted to work into it. Later took that material and worked it into a freestanding piece called Prelude, Fugue, and Jazz Riff. So we're going to look at now just the fugue portion, because it's a very interesting kind of fugue. It's a very complex fugue. So we're going to start out here, and I'm going to break this to listen and stop, or listen and stop, so that we can focus on particular passages. So as we start to listen, see how many voices there are in Leonard Bernstein's fugue. Have a general sense of what the range is: soprano, alto, bass. What else do you need? Oh yeah, what instruments are playing here?
Сейчас там все инструменты эти ультразвуки. Что я так не подумал. Ага, тут и нету ничего. А вот я проиграл.
The exposition and a little bit of the development there. So what instrument? Ducks? Yeah, saxophone. Yeah, okay. You need to saxophone. He's right. Yeah, so saxophone. Yeah. So we've got, roughly how many did you hear? Two? Maybe four. Maybe four different saxophones. So alto saxophone, baritone saxophone. And there was one, so we're playing this out. This is rather syncopated fugue study. Da, beep, 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 da, 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 da. Let's listen to it again. No, we don't have time to do that. But here's one thing that happened. That kind of sound. Then after one episode, one of the saxes brought back that subject.
Big subject.
What is that? What's the relationship there? Yeah, it's just inverting it. It's taking the intervals and flipping them. And that's what composers love to do with fugues. And we'll be talking about interchangeable parts, reciprocal relationships with the mathematical quality. And so that's what's happening here. We have a moment of melodic inversion. And sometimes in fugues, and Bach did this in the musical offering, he can take his fugue subject and run it backwards. Run it backwards from beginning to end. So they like to have this kind of mathematical permutations.
Paper. You saw paper. Sergeant paper.
Inversion. Now, what we're about to hear next is something of a surprise because we get a second fugue subject. And it's a different fugue subject. It's not syncopated, it's rather lyrical. Something like that. So it's nice and lyrical. And let's listen to how he now unfolds a second fugue subject. So what we have here is called a double fugue. We've got one exposition with one fugue subject, as in there's a completely different exposition position
Как
with
будто.
the subject.
Смеешься? Видишь, опять целый день просидел, сколько.
And then number 1 comes back. Okay, we're going to pause it here because he's now about to do something rather interesting. The Bach used to do as well. And Bernstein was a consummate musician. He studied Bach coming out of his ears, so he knew about this particular trick. It's called stretto. You can design a fugue subject, not only that it can go upside down, but in which the intervals, instead of coming in long succession, could be piled right on top of one another. So the way he sets this thing up to begin with is this, maybe this, and this. But in the next section,
Ладно, что ты закинешь? Не надо говорить того. Ничего.
So here is a fancy little bit of counterpoint by Leonard Bernstein. Once again, it goes by Bernstein.
Нет, для себя как-то.
Here. Now he's going to bring back the 2 subjects together. We have 1 and 2 together. Episode. Syncopated episode. 1, 2. So it's a pretty nifty little fugue there by Leonard Bernstein. There's lots of intricate counterpoint involved here. All right, let's end now with a fugue of J.S. Bach. For that, we're going to turn to an organ fugue.
Как ты прикол? Потому что... Ходульт пиано. Ничего. Ну и все, наверное, все так, все так делают. Как делать друзья, О, етить твои ноги, что-то это самое. ладно. Он по слуху играет с листа. Марч. Январь. А, ну 2 месяца, в принципе, да. Все равно всем делать нехрен, смотри. Да, понимаю. Да, я же помню себя в школе. Помнишь ты там, да, то есть просто вообще понял, да. Ладно, забудьте, я шутил уже просто так. Мисюха. Больше нет ничего. Если будешь слушать, наверное, да, ритм, нос, ну наоборот, это круто, это очень. Сейчас, наверное, вообще круто ждать. Такой это вообще изыск. Не варит, не варит. Что-то же должно зайти, все правильно, нет? Правильно. Правильно, правильно. Правильно, правильно, правильно.
Hello and welcome everybody, what is going on? So my name is Prince Kutchler and it has been about a year now since I started playing the piano. I thought, I originally started this making videos just to basically keep progress so I could look back and say, every time I feel down I could look back and say, look where I was and look where I am now. So basically I wouldn't lose motivation because I knew if I wasn't going to do that I would lose motivation. But it's been quite a long journey so far. Obviously, like I said, it's been 1 year and it's been quite a good year, to be fair. I mean, the first 8-9 months or so I was actually playing, very, very regularly. I thought I made a lot of progress. And then about 2 months ago, a lot of progress. Look back and say, look where I was and look where I am now. So basically I wouldn't lose motivation because I knew if I wasn't going to do that I would lose motivation. But it's been quite a long journey so far. Obviously, like I said, it's been 1 year and it's been quite a good year, to be fair. I mean, the first 8-9 months or so I was actually playing, very, very regularly. I thought I made a lot of progress. About 2 months ago I had a lot of things to do, a lot of work to do in terms of for university and whatnot. So I was kind of busy
And since then, for a month or so, I didn't really make any progress or little progress. But since then, I think I've made quite a good amount of progress. So that's where we are right now. We are in December, close enough to January. There's only like 7 days or so left. So we're quite close. And here's just what I've been up to since the beginning. And like I said, I think overall, I think I did pretty well. Now the targets I guess while talking about the past, you should also look forward to the future. And I think that for the future, there are a few things that I want to do. There are a few things that ultimately I want to get to, but I'll get to that in a second. I just want to say I started originally with the Alfred's all-in-one course
Board of music,
level 1. And I thought overall it was a pretty good book. It teaches you like the basics, literally from the very beginning until how you can read notes, and then it shows you how to count notes. It shows you how to do this and that and that. And ultimately, I thought it was a very, very good book. However, halfway through, not about halfway through, about all beginners, it's all in one, talking about the past. You should also look forward to the future. And I think that for the future, there are a few things that I want to do. There are a few things that ultimately I want to get to. But I'll get to that in a second. I just want to say I started originally with the Alfred's all-in-one course for adult beginners, level 1. And I thought overall it was a pretty good book. It teaches you like the basics, literally from the very beginning until how you can read notes, and then it shows you how to count notes. It shows you how to do this and that and that. And ultimately, I thought it was a very, very good book. However, halfway through, not about halfway through, about 3/4 through, I thought this just getting a bit too repetitive, because obviously it gives you music that is just constantly going, that's constantly more difficult and more difficult, so it's gradually increasing in difficulty. But I just thought, instead of playing the songs from in here, I want to do my own thing. I want to look at different songs. I want to play different songs as well, but that are more, I guess, more musically. So I kind of abandoned this book halfway through, only to ultimately come back to it just so I could have it complete. So that wouldn't be a complete waste of money. So I thought, if I'm only 3/4 through, I might as well do the last quarter. And I did the last quarter in about 3 weeks or so. So overall, I thought, like I said, overall this book was very, very good. If you're a total beginner, I think this book is probably the best book to get. I've heard a lot of the Faber and Faber series, so I can't really make a judgment because I haven't got on myself. Like I said, this one it gets a little bit repetitive. It really depends on how you're going to sit through it. If you think that you're a pretty dedicated person, if you want to learn about every single thing, I think this book is very, very good in that regard. And it doesn't just explain everything to you; it also throws you right into there. So even if you don't know much, even if you only know a little and you can only remember a little, you'll still be able to use that little knowledge to apply it to this book. So that's what I think. That's probably a very, very good purchase to do. Obviously, I'm only speaking from personal experience here, but I thought this book helped me quite a lot. After the book, I went to a few different independent songs and whatnot, from like simplified versions of the more popular songs, such as Moonlight Sonata and Ode to Joy, which I thought, I'll leave the website in the description down below, but I ultimately thought that was pretty helpful. That was pretty helpful as well, just because it kind of made me appreciate other music as well. It kind of made me look at more difficult versions of pieces. So that was very helpful, just because I was able to be like, okay, I'm able to apply the knowledge I've gained from this to other pieces, and that is very, very important, But then I started with this, and this to this day has been it definitely. Scales, chords, and arpeggios. I haven't really gotten to cadences, but scales, chords, and arpeggios. I mean, chords are pretty simple to a degree. Scales, however, I wish I would have put more time into scales. I really do. At the beginning, I did a lot of scales, and even to this day, I do a lot of scales. But there was like there was a period where I stopped doing scales for about a month or two, and I really regret that. Because ultimately, scales, it just helped me with fluency, and I think it really helped me as well with my, not just with my fluency, but also with my, I don't know what you call it, but with my weight control, again, I don't really know how to describe that. Basically, playing more smoothly, playing the pianissimo quieter, playing the forte more louder and everything like that. So I kind of feel like scales really help you create an even balance, and I think you really need to learn scales as early as possible, because obviously it's not a thing that you can just develop overnight. These are things that you have to spend a year or 2 or 3 on just to get to a good level, and obviously then you want to get to see 2 pages worth, and that's for every single scale. That's why I really like this book, because it's just so in depth. Obviously, you could just I'd say.
Ой, в общем, жанры. Ага, договорились. Вот это наоборот, она вот это есть на самом деле, типа туда нельзя залезать. Вот и ну это хорошо. Я это не знал, как оно работает. это имеет в виду, да. Наверное, нет, понял. У меня уже этих симфоний, знаешь, сколько? Я уже понял. Собачка-драчка.